Let us first have a moment of silence for the victim in this case. Welcome to 8MC Investigations. I want to thank all of you for watching. We put out weekly interrogation videos, and we have a lot of exclusive content that you've never seen before coming, just like this. So if you're a fan of consistent content, make sure you're subscribed. The absolute best way to support the channel is to subscribe, and if you appreciate what we're doing here, the only violence that I condone is you assaulting that like button. That lets us know we're moving in the right direction. Okay, enough rambling, let's get into it. This is a horrendous story with some absolutely abhorrent people. Vera Jo Reigle was a 24-year-old mother of one. She lived in Findlay, Ohio, with a family that some have compared to the Manson family. There's a documentary that I would suggest all of you go and watch, Messersmith, The Story of Vera Jo. John Crimes poured his heart and soul into this, and he does a phenomenal job helping us all understand the roots of this story and the atrocities that grew from them. He spent months researching, went above and beyond on his production. It will definitely give a good understanding of these characters and the roles that they play. Be warned, nothing about this case is easy to watch. Okay, back to business. Vera was essentially a slave to these people, and at 24 years old, she had the mental capacity of an 8-year-old. She was completely taken advantage of. The interrogations that we have released over the past few weeks have told her story like it has never been told before. Make sure you go and watch them. They are all linked in the description below. Let's make sure that these scumbags have the light shined on them, and Vera Jo Reigle will never be forgotten. This is the 9th and final interrogation in this series, and the 3rd interrogation of Danny Bixler Jr. It's been quite a journey, and it's not over yet. Danny is going to tell quite a different story this time. All of the other interrogations in this series are linked below, so make sure you watch those. This interrogation took place on April 6, 2011. This is the final chapter of this series, and Danny is just as cold-blooded as ever. He realizes that he's being thrown completely under the bus, and he does his best to make sure that he is not the only one that gets run over. Danny is already a career criminal. He's been in and out of jail and prison since his adolescence. He shares a father with Scotty Brooks, which makes them cousin brothers, as his cousin, Sherry, is also his brother Scotty's mother. I could continue to confuse you with this web of incest, but we'll move on. Danny Bixler Jr. was just released from prison on March 3rd, 2011, and arrived in Findlay, Ohio less than a week prior to the murder of Vera Jo, and this is how his interrogation went. Viewer discretion is advised.
You alright over there?
Quite honestly, I'm okay with it. You know, I mean, I guess the difference with that is that if you come to me and some of the other fucking jack, and they got others like that.
Those meals. Yeah. Better than nothing, I suppose. Yeah, you get bug bites.
Whenever they started, I told him I ain't taking them no more.
Cups off?
Yeah, I think they did, now that you say that. You okay with your feet?
Yeah.
Them alright?
Yeah.
10:14. gotta go through a couple things like I explained to you over there, okay? At your initial appearance, you said you wished an attorney. I guess let me back up before that. Did you contact us this morning, wanting to talk to us?
Yeah.
Okay, and how did you go about doing that?
I told the young officer that was standing there by the elevator
Okay,
that I wanted to talk to you guys.
okay. And you understand that you do have an opportunity to have an attorney since you went to court and you requested one. And at this point, you want to talk to us without an attorney, right?
Yeah.
You understand all that?
Yep.
Okay. We're still going to go through your rights again. All right. And I'll have you add something here. Before I ask you any questions, you must understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to the advice and presence of a lawyer if you cannot afford to hire one. Sorry, man, I'm not doing good reading upside down. If you wish a lawyer and cannot pay for one, you may apply to the court and will be appointed to you without cost or charge to you. If you wish to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you have the right to stop answering questions at any time. You also have the right to stop answering at any time until you talk to a lawyer. Understand all those?
Yep.
Okay, any questions about any of those? If you want to read the waiver out
I
loud
have
for
read
us.
the statement of my rights shown above. I understand what my rights are. I am willing to answer questions and make a statement. I do not want a lawyer present during this interview. I understand and know what I am doing. No promises or threats have been made to me, and no pressure of any kind has been used against me.
Any questions about that?
Nope.
Understand all that? Okay. And again, this is your opportunity. If you want a lawyer present, now's the time to say stop. You want your lawyer here. You understand all that?
Yeah.
Okay. You're still good at talking with us?
Yep.
Okay. If I could, on the back, just have you write something along with the lines that you had contacted us, and at this time you do not want your lawyer present, okay?
Check something real quick.
T-U.
T-U-T-T-L-E? Seven, eight, six.
Alright, so TJ Brooks, right?
Brooks, yeah, that's who contacted us. Alright. What's your first question, or what?
Well, mainly is how they hit me with 2 kidnappings for the same person. They got me with 2 counts of kidnapping for the same person.
If you read them, they're read a little different, if I'm not mistaken. You got
Your first account.
Yeah.
Probably they called the death of another Vera Jo Reigle while committing or attempting to commit a crime of kidnapping, a violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2905.01. Then the other one's on the back.
It should be. I think this is your ag letter account. Yeah, this first one's your ag letter account, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. This one would be one of the trespasses, kidnappings.
This is the fourth. This is tampering with evidence. So this is felonious assault. So this is our here back.
Same thing with evidence.
Force fit another, restrain another.
Okay. To answer specifically, that's an attorney thing. I'm not an attorney, okay? But if you read them, they read different. One's by force, or threat, restrain one Vera Regal of her liberty with purpose to terrorize or inflict serious physical harm to her, okay?
Like I told you, she came knowingly with us.
Right. But when she was being made to take her clothes off, was she free to leave at that time?
Yeah.
Right.
It was because we told her to walk with us, and well, she came there. She could have ran any time.
Sure. Up until she got to the bridge.
She still could have ran.
Well, I mean, those are you're arguing what we call semantics at this point.
Yeah.
You restrained her of her liberty. You had the knife. You were cutting her. You were threatening her. Saying one, I assume one applies to at the bridge, and one applies to when you guys left the Brooks' house. Okay, we're not the attorneys. We don't make up the charges. We send our report over, and they determine based on our reports how they want to proceed with charges. Okay, I'm pretty certain one involves you at the house. You and Nicole and whomever else took her from the house and led her to the place where she was killed. And then the other is the fact that you guys were essentially, you killed her there on the bridge, taking away her liberty to leave at that point. Okay, something along those lines. We're not attorneys. So that's essentially what that goes down to. Okay.
Yeah. And again, like we talked about the one interview, man, loyalty isn't.
I know, because I seen my brother in the county, and I think he's like, I hope he died for that. I'm like,
who said that?
my cousin, Zach.
Zach? Oh, you guys actually ran into each other?
Yeah, I was coming down the hallway from the library. He was coming out of a visit. So I hope he died for this. And Zach, you know how you guys kept saying there's more to it and everything? Zach was there.
Okay.
He was there at the bridge with us.
Okay.
Yeah, Zach was there with us. Zach was part of it. Garth was part of it. Scotty was there. We all went.
And tell us what happened.
Well,
I mean, what was talked about at the house? We know what happened at the bridge. What happened at the house, or how did this come up?
we all sat down, was talking about it.
Who's we?
Me, Zach, Garth, Scotty, and Nicole.
Okay.
We all sat down, was all talking about it. If Mike and Shannon came back with bad news, we were all taking her to the bridge.
Okay. And what were you going to do at the bridge when you took her to the bridge?
What we did.
Okay. And then what happened? You guys are talking about it, then what happens?
Well, when Mike and Shannon got back, we all ended up, they told us the news, and boom, we all just went, told her to come on. As soon as Kevin left, we all ended up telling her, come on, we're going for a walk.
Okay, and who's we all going for a walk? Who's all with
me, Nicole, Zach, Scotty, and Garth.
Okay. Then what happened?
And we ended up taking Vera with us all over to the bridge. Then you guys know the rest.
Okay. Did any of the stabs happen different than what you described earlier?
No. Because Zach stabbed her.
So Zach did stab her.
Scotty stabbed her. Garth stabbed her. Okay. I stabbed her. Nicole stabbed her. We all took our turns.
Okay. And where did they specifically stab her?
All over. Just wherever the knife plunged in.
Okay. How did it get started, or who took the first blow?
The first blow was Nicole.
Okay.
Then the knife got passed on, and it just kept getting passed around the knife.
Okay. How did the clothes come off, or when did the clothes come off in comparison to the stabbings?
They came off like after the third or fourth stabbing.
Okay. And where was she stabbed at?
The back, right in here, her leg, and they said, screw this, the knife ain't going through the clothes that well, told her to strip.
Okay, and who did that?
Nicole and Zach told her to strip.
Okay. So, see, that's what, we weren't bullshitting you about everybody throwing you under the bus. Okay? So,
because I got a letter from my dad, he's like, yeah, I think you're literally being set all the way up. And that he's like, I know that they're telling you not to say anything, but
Right. Have you seen? You obviously got the indictments. You probably haven't seen the paper today, have you?
no,
Who got indicted today?
me.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you right now from the paper and from my personal experience, nobody else got indicted at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what Nicole, if she's gonna get indicted with all this too, or what.
She's got charges pending on her.
Because all I know right now is she's just got the aggravated murder
Right.
and the courtesy hold on her.
Yeah. To make things short, just like you were charged with aggravated murder to start, okay, that's just a starting point. And then once everything comes together, once the entire case is complete, then additional charges, like I explained to you when we took you over that one day, there's a possibility of additional charges coming through. With Nicole, trust me, that ain't gonna be the only charge on her, is ag murder. So, okay. But what I want to do is give you a second to compose yourself and start from the very beginning, as far as when you guys were talking about it, who brought it up, who knew, and go all the way through, okay?
It started off with Zach because once Zach was telling us about when they lived out on 220 when she tried throwing her out the window.
Okay.
And that he already wanted her dead then.
Okay.
And everything. So, well, then when they told me that she was involved in my cousin Punky's death, I'm like, yeah.
Vera was?
They said that she was involved in his death.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, she's trying to kill too many of the family.
Okay.
And shit. And it all just escalated and escalated, and we all sat there and was
And
just talking to
that's you, Scotty, and Zach, Garth, and Nicole. Okay. And that's while Michael and Shannon were at the hospital. You guys were talking about this. Okay.
You had mentioned somebody threw somebody out a window. What was that?
Vera tried throwing her daughter out the window, which is Zach's daughter.
Zach's daughter? That's Willoughby? Is that right? That's all right. Willoughby.
Okay.
That's what I'm confirming.
You said Zach's kind of, I don't want to call him the ringleader, but he's the one that was bringing this up, or was somebody else bringing this up?
He brought it up.
Okay.
And everything. And said, yeah, I've been wanting her dead and everything. Then it all just escalated.
And did you talk about how you guys were going to do it?
We were talking about and end up stabbing her, shooting her, ways of getting rid of the body,
Okay.
all that.
And what was one of the ways to get rid of the body?
Wood chipper. No,
Wood chipper.
farm.
Okay. Anything else?
Just leaving her lay on the tracks. End up just leaving her lay somewhere. Anywhere.
As far as on the tracks, was there any reason why you guys went to the tracks?
At the time, it was the closest place to go.
Okay.
And it was out of sight.
Whose decision was that?
At the time, it was like, just like the spur of the moment. Just rather than get it over here, get it done and over with.
Okay. So you guys had talked about stabbing, shooting. I mean, did you guys come up upon an agreement what you were going to do?
Well, they couldn't get their hands on no guns. I knew I could have. All I had to do was go back to Tiffin.
Right.
But it would have came back on me no matter what.
Right. Certainly.
Because the guns that are in Tiffin are registered to me.
Okay. So you decided on a knife then?
Yep.
Who had that?
Nicole brought the knife.
Okay, so Nicole had it. That was accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
She had it down in her side. Carried it all the way there.
And you said you waited for Kevin to leave?
Yeah,
What was that?
Kevin ended up leaving and going down the road to Circle K because Kevin literally would never have left us live with her.
Okay.
Because Kevin seen how pissed off we all were and everything, but he left and went down to the store to get some things.
Okay. So Kevin leaves. What happens next?
As soon as Kevin leaves, we look out the door to see how far down the road he is. Don't see him.
When you say we, who's looking out the door?
Me, Zach,
Okay.
and Garth all went outside to see how far down the road he was. We didn't see him, so we all hurry up. So come on, we're going for a walk.
And who tells her we're going for a walk?
Me, Nicole, Zach, we all basically yelled and said, come on, we're going for a walk.
Okay. Then what happens?
We all hurried up and left before Kevin got back. When took the same route, right across the street to the parking lot on down.
Okay.
And all the way over to the tracks. Then everything that I already told you went down.
Okay. And was anything said while you guys were walking there or anything like that?
No.
Okay. And you said Nicole had the knife?
Yeah.
How did you see her get the knife, or how did that?
All I heard was when she went to the kitchen, the rough went around in the door.
Okay. So Nicole was the one that went into the kitchen? Okay. Once you get to the tracks, what happens at the track? And be as specific as you can.
Well, Nicole stabbed her in the back, then ended up passing the knife along and letting everybody else get their turn. And then once they knew that it wasn't punching all the way through the clothes, well, Zach, Nicole, and I'll basically say everybody said take off your clothes.
Okay.
Might as well.
Okay. And did Vera take them off, or did
She
anybody?
took them off. She
Okay.
took them off, was thrown off the side, and Nicole grabbed them, threw them over the side.
Okay. So Nicole was the one that grabbed him and tossed him over? Okay. Then what happened?
Started going to town. Hitting her, stabbing her.
Fist hitting her, or? Okay. And how many times you said, was your accurate 6 times?
Yeah.
Okay. And I need specific details. Where specifically did you stab her?
Right underneath her breast.
Under her breast? Okay.
Back here. Well, they were down on this side.
That was a stab, or that was the big
Well,
slice?
it was a stab, then going upwards. It was like this, but the knife didn't go in because it hit the bone. And
Okay.
it just went upwards with it.
Okay. And then the other one, the big slice?
Yeah.
Was that the big slice?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the big slice. Okay. Where else? Under the breast? A big slice on her back?
Right near her side.
Then you put it to the. This would be your right side. Would it be her right side? Or
Yeah.
okay. Were you behind her or in front of her?
I was off to the side of her.
Okay. And was she standing or on the ground?
She was standing.
She was standing at that point.
But once I stabbed her in the leg, she dropped.
Okay.
Then I stabbed her again in her leg.
Okay. So we got twice in the leg,
2.
the big one on the back, right under her breast, and then you're showing me on the her side,
Yeah.
one of the side. So that was only 5. Was there another one? I can't think of what the other one did. Okay, but you're sure 6 times. Okay. Nicole, roughly how many times did she stab her?
About 6.
About 6. Okay. And what about who was the most aggressive beyond you and Nicole? Who else was doing a lot of stabbing?
This is Zach.
Okay. How many
Because
times?
he literally wanted her dead
Okay. And where was Zach stabbing her at?
everywhere.
Okay.
Wherever the knife landed.
Okay. And was she standing up, or was she on the ground at that point? Okay. And he was just
Once I
stabbing
hit
her
her in
anywhere?
the leg, she dropped.
Okay. Who did the neck, or?
The neck, that was, Nicole went around it the first time, then Zach ended up stabbing her a few times in the neck to try and break it down more. Then they did a sawing action to it.
Okay. And you said that Zach and Nicole were sawing on it? Okay. You said Garth was down there. Where did Garth stab her?
Garth stabbed her twice, then ended up standing where I was standing
Okay.
and everything. He literally didn't want to see everything that was going on. He only got 2 stabs and then
Okay.
moved off to the side.
And where do you think he stabbed her at? From your recollection?
Around in this
Midsection somewhere? Okay. What about Scotty?
Scotty, he was doing like Zach, just random places.
Okay. And how many would you say for Scotty?
About 4 or 5.
Okay. And when you say Zach, how many roughly on Zach? I mean, was he as many times as you?
Probably.
Okay, so around the 6 area? Okay. Do you think you can draw for me where she was laying and where everybody was standing, or what? I'll get you a piece of paper. You out? I'll get you a one. Let me get you a fresh pack. You got anything to drink or anything like that?
Yeah,
Water? What I'm looking at is like draw Vera and then where everybody was standing. Okay.
tracks.
I'll get you some water.
There's the tracks. I'll just put like N for Nicole.
Yeah.
Nicole is there. Zach, Scotty, me, Gar.
Remember when you told us that you were standing at the edge of the bridge? Can you kind of show us where the edge of the bridge was?
Right. Because as soon as me and Garth got done, we ended up standing right here. Then they were all in there. Because me and Garth basically stood there just keeping an eye out. Because we kept hearing people off to the side and that, so we were like, yeah. So we both just stood off to the side over here so that way we could see
See what's going on. The clothes, what was the point of throwing the clothes over the side?
basically to get them out of the area.
She trying to get him into the river?
Maybe.
I don't want to ask too many questions about that here, so I'm just kind of waiting. So this is, put a line underneath the N for Nicole, just so we know that's an N, because the Z and the N kind of the same. So,
Just go NP.
there you go. That'll work.
It's her initials.
You got mail from your dad, or?
Yeah, I got mail from my dad. He's like, he wrote me and told me like, yeah, was Zach involved? He's like, look, I know that they're probably telling you not to say anything, but I gotta know. He's like, and I started a letter over there to him, and that telling him everything that happened, everything that went on, who was all involved, and that.
Did you start a letter or you sent a letter?
I just started it.
Okay.
He sent me, because my OG that was down in Allen with me wrote me a letter, like, dude, what the fuck? And everything. He's like, I seen you on the news and shit, you're looking at time like me. And shit, possibility, definitely. He's like, he was really chewing my ass out. Then my dad, he's like, look, he was chewing my ass out, but he was more concerned in it. He wanted to know what all went on. And he told me in the letter that Vera was family. He's like, what all went on? What made you? Okay, I'll show you the letters over there.
Maybe we'd like to see those at one point.
Because in the letter that my OG wrote me, he's like, yeah, the girl's dad's down here with us. He's in Five House. And the only person I know in Five House, once I read my dad's letter and I seen Joe's family, I'm like, okay. Joe was down at Allen with me in Five House and everything, but I never knew Joe's last name.
Okay.
So it put two and two together and everything.
you kind of understanding the shit we're talking about. Everybody's pointing the finger at you. Everybody in that family is trying to put everything on your shoulders.
That's why my dad's like, I think you're being fully set the fuck up. Because nobody else wants to take responsibility for what they've done.
Right.
And shit. Because the one phone I had when I first got there, I ended up taking pictures of everybody. Where that phone went, I don't know. Because that phone came up missing my second day there.
What kind of pictures were you taking?
Of everybody in the house. I just just walking around the house, catching them off guard, taking pictures of them.
What was the first of that?
Just have them in the phone. Have family in the phone.
Understand. Looking for family kind of thing?
Yeah.
Understand. Absolutely.
Then I got pictures of all my tats.
I guess all used up. I guess it goes without saying too, Vera's in the middle of the group, right?
Yeah. See, that's Nicole, there's Zach, Scotty, me, and Gar.
So the shoes that had blood on them, whose shoes are those then?
Mine, the ones that came out of prison.
I'm sorry?
The ones that came out of prison.
Okay. So those were your shoes?
Yeah.
Or did anybody else get...
Nicole had blood on her outfit, her shoes, which I don't even know where her stuff's at.
Right. What about the other guys?
Zach and Scotty and Garth all took their stuff and burned it.
Okay. Where'd they burn it at?
When we got back to the house, they took it and put it in a bag. Then ended up taking it. They went on another walk and ended up taking it and burning it. I don't know where
So you
they
don't know
went.
where they went? Okay. They tell you they burned it, or how do you know that?
They said that they burned it when they came back.
Okay.
Because they were telling me, look, there's a pair of shoes and that, go ahead, use them, throw those in. I'm like, dude, I am not getting rid of my shoes. I paid $150 for these shoes.
Okay.
I am not burning them.
Okay.
I'm like, I will clean them up.
Right. So on the pre-planning stage or whatever, you said it was Zach, Garth, Scotty, and you and Nicole, right? And you're specifically talking about what? You said if things didn't go...
If things didn't go right with Mike and Shannon, and that if they came back with bad news, we were all going to walk with her. We were mainly plotting which way to do it.
Which way to do what?
End up killing her.
Okay.
We were looking, because all I had to do was make one phone call, hey, I need a ride. Boom, go back to and get the guns, and I could have been back. We were looking at doing just stabbing her, then end up using a wood chipper.
Okay.
So that way, boom. But then we all basically said, fuck it. Once Kevin left, we all just said, fuck it. Nicole went to the kitchen, ruffled through the drawer, ended up putting the knife on her. Then fucking, we went outside to see how far Kevin was down the road. Didn't see him. So we told her to come on.
Okay. And where was Sherry at when all this was happening?
She was on her bed.
Okay. She know what was going on?
She knew what was going on because how pissed off we all were.
Okay. Anybody tell her?
We ended up telling her what all went on once we got back.
Once you get back? Okay. And did you specifically tell her some stuff? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, she was on the WLX.
Because all I did is told her the places I stabbed her.
Okay.
Nicole went straight upstairs and went to bed.
Okay.
Because, yeah, she was already drinking, I was drinking.
Did you guys tell her after you got back from Destas? Or
No, right as soon as everything happened.
okay.
Once we came back to the house.
Okay.
Because Kevin was in the kitchen at the time, and we were all just whispering to her and telling her what all went on.
Okay. So is it true when Sherry was on TV, said that you came up, pat her on the chest and said everything's okay, Mom? Vera's with Larry or something like that. What did you specifically tell her?
I told her,
Did you pat her on the chest like she says?
yeah.
Okay.
I ended up, I came up to her, wrapped my arms around her, gave her a hug, and went like this.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, Vera's alright, she's with Larry.
Okay. That is what you told her?
So that way, she thinks that everything went on. She knows what went on because we told her that, but that was the excuse that we gave her. So that way, if Kevin asked where she was with Larry.
Okay. So, as far as Sherry, you told her where you stabbed? Did anybody else tell Sherry where she was stabbed? Or anybody talking to her?
Zach kept telling the whole damn story.
Was he?
Zach was telling everybody the whole story. When we got to my sister's, that's how my sister found out.
Okay.
Through Zach. Zach told her the whole story. Then my sister came yelling at me like, what the fuck were you thinking?
Is that what your sister said that Zach told her? Or maybe somebody else might have told her and you assumed that
She told me Zach told her, came and asked me about it. I'm like, yeah, sis, I was there, I was involved and everything. I'm like, yeah, I know that they're probably going to be able to warrant out for me here in a few days. Like, I straight told her.
You said Nicole went up to bed when you guys got back to the house?
Yeah.
Oh, and she stayed in bed.
She was already drunk, so she ended up just going back up to bed and falling asleep.
she went with you to Destas, right?
She went to Destas. She ended up coming back downstairs about an hour later. We went back to Destas. Then
Okay, so she went upstairs after you got back for a little while, and then you guys went to Destas. You say they burned their clothes and everything somewhere else. Would anybody... I guess my question was, how bloody was Vera and around her when you guys left? I mean, was it a mess, or was there a little bit of blood?
the way it looked when we went out there is how bloody she was.
Okay, when you guys left. Was anybody standing around her specifically that would have been in that blood pools or anything?
Nicole's footprints would have been there. Mine, all of our footprints would have ended up having to at least be in there. Unless, because I didn't see how Zach came through. I don't know if he went all the way to the side and came around or what.
And you said Garth was out
Yeah,
pretty quick.
Garth only stabbed her twice and then came straight over here where I was standing by the side on that little ledge part.
Okay.
Because once I stabbed her 6 times, I went right out here, back away from everything.
Also, it wasn't take turns, it was
It was
when you were done, you got out.
Yeah.
Okay. So who went first? You said Nicole went first?
Nicole went first,
Then who?
then me, and Zach, Scotty. Well, no. So went Nicole, me, Garth, Scotty, then Zach.
You said Garth was maybe a couple times, and
Garth
Scotty
only
was...
did it twice.
Okay, and Scotty was a few more times. And
Scotty was probably about 4, 5. The only reason why me and Garth went out this way is because we heard people talking and shit in the distance, so we went out this way to look to see it.
And did you walk back the same way you said before, or did you all go back a different way?
Zach ended up going up the bike trail and around.
Okay.
Scotty ended up walking down the tracks all the way down and came back.
To Center Street?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then me and Nicole and Garth all came back the way that we came.
That you did? Okay. And her clothes wasn't put in the dumpster then?
Nicole, she did throw her clothes in the dumpster. I don't know if when they left the tape and burned their stuff, that they ended up going over there and grabbing hers.
Okay. So she did throw her clothes in there. Alright. And then obviously she had to wear her shoes to go back to the house,
Yeah.
did she? Okay.
Because she had the pair of red shorts that Mike gave me on underneath.
And then what'd you guys do with your shoes back at the Brookses?
I took them off, set them off to the side.
Where at? In the house?
I was upstairs in Zach's room.
Okay.
I set them off to the side, went downstairs, jumped in the shower, took the clothes I had on, threw them in the hamper, put on the shorts that I came in with and the pants that I had. They were all thrown to the side. And the shirt that Alan the Cat gave me.
Okay. How did Alan fit in any of this? Does he know what happened?
He don't know anything that
Okay. I mean, was there any talk at Vesta's that he might have heard or anything like that?
he might have heard it.
Okay. Don't know.
You know.
What in the car when you guys were driving around? Was there a lot of talk? Because at that point it was who was in the
It
car?
was me, Alan, Zach, and say my sister's boyfriend.
Josh.
Yeah.
He was driving.
Yeah, he was the very good.
What was being said in the car?
Well, Zach started off talking about what all went on. I kept telling him to shut up about it because I didn't really know dude. I'm like, shut up about it. He's like, what'd you guys do? So, once he heard that we ended up killing somebody, he's like, what'd you guys do, you crazy fuckers? It was like, fuck it, he already knows what the fuck happened now, so.
Anything else you think we should know?
That's mainly it.
Okay. Think you'd be able to write out a statement now?
Yeah.
Crips or no Crips, man. You gotta throw it under the bus. I think you realize that now. And what do we got? N is Nicole.
NP is Nicole.
NP.
Z is Zach. G is Garth. M is me. And then the S is Scotty.
And what's that? VR?
Yeah, fair.
And which is, north and south? Which way is towards the Emmons? I'll just say it that way.
It would be diagonally from here.
Okay. So the tracks go this way.
Yeah.
Which, the Emmons' house is towards the or Brooks's? I'm sorry.
Yeah, because we had to go this way and cut over.
Okay. So we'll give the north that way. Alright? Give me a pen. If you can, just sign that like you did before. That's to write some statements, alright? And I guess my thing is to be as truthful, number one, and as much detail as you can, starting when you guys started talking about this and what you were gonna do. You know what I mean? Who was there? What you guys were talking about? Why you were gonna do it?
Like I told him, when my dad wrote me and he wanted to know everything that went on, I literally sat there and wrote everything down.
Yeah.
And the letter that my dad wrote and everything, he's like, yeah, I seen on the news and everything about Vera and everything. He's like, that's Joe's family. Well, I got my cousin Joe down in Allen, and when my OG down there wrote me, he's like, yeah, dude over in Five House that was her father is going nuts all about it. I'm like, the only person I know in Five House down there was Joe. And putting two to two together.
Alright, man, as you said, or as we said, be as detailed as you can, okay? Everything. Alright? You gonna smoke or you good, man?
Yeah.
Need some?
Yeah.
Okay, you got the stick.
I signed it at the box.
Okay.
And then I signed the other one.
Okay.
Today, some of the guys left. They went, got rid of their clothes.
Yeah.
Tell us about that again.
They ended up leaving.
Who's that?
Zach, Garth, and Scotty.
Okay.
They left. They ended up taking their clothes off, changing, threw their clothes in a bag,
What kind of bag?
one of the trash bags.
Trash, just like a normal trash bag. What color?
The black trash bag.
Black. Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Ended up, they left. They were going for about, say, about a half hour to an hour.
Okay.
Because I was waiting on my sister to come back.
you see which direction they headed?
They walked down towards Circle K. Then after that, I don't know which way they went.
How did you know that they were going to go murder the place?
As soon as they came back, I was getting ready to leave to go to my sister's. My sister was there to pick me back up. And they're like, well, clothes are gone. They straight told me that they went and burned them. They said that they were going to get rid of the clothes and everything while they were at the house. Then when they left and came back, they said that they burned the clothes so that way.
They walk somewhere towards the Circle K.
Yeah, they walked down the road towards Circle K, then after that, I don't know which way they went. They were gone for about a half hour by now.
Did they ask you about your clothes?
They wanted me to burn my shoes because that's the only thing that had blood on them. But I told them I ain't burning them. I paid $150 for them.
And I gotta ask, since we've done this a couple times, this is what happened, right?
Yeah.
No fluff, no added posting or anything like that. This is what happened. Okay. Everything's pretty consistent. Once Vera was killed is when you guys, after they did whatever they did, y'all went to Vesta's house and drank.
Yeah, we ended up, because I was drunk once. I was already drinking
Okay.
before everything
started?
went down.
Okay.
That Nicole was already drinking. I was going back and forth to the store and bringing alcohol back.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that didn't really go well with Sherry. Me bringing alcohol back to the house.
Really? She don't like it?
Well, she don't like me drinking around the kids.
Oh, okay.
Because she had Goldie there and Kevin the Third.
Okay.
Which Kevin the Third ended up going back home.
Okay. There's talk about the pipe. You had said a yellow pipe.
Yeah.
I mean, did that happen?
Yes.
Okay.
That happened at the house.
Okay. And that was
Like,
Saturday or maybe a couple days
it was
before
the
that?
day before.
Okay. I'm thinking Friday.
Yeah, like Friday, Thursday.
Okay. And then the whole toothbrush.
That happened on the same day.
Okay. You said you didn't see that, but Nicole had told you how to get this bitch stick a brush up her mouth or something, in her mouth or something like that. Okay. And who else would have seen that? Would anybody else have seen that or don't know?
I'm not for sure.
Okay. And Sherry knew about it once you guys got back. You said Zach was talking out loud about it, and you had told her yourself that you stabbed herself.
Yeah.
Did Nicole tell her?
Nicole, she went straight upstairs as soon as we came in.
Okay.
She went upstairs and ended up falling asleep because she was already drunk. She slept for about an hour.
Okay.
Then
Since
ended
she'd
up-
been drinking then
yeah.
too.
She ended up getting back up. I'll admit, I was doing corruption of a minor by buying her alcohol.
Yeah.
I'll admit.
Yeah.
But I'd rather see somebody underage drink with somebody that literally gonna cut them off.
Yeah. And Nicole, I mean, what's that, hour or whatever, then she went.
Yeah, she,
Everybody that went to Destas was, as you had said before.
yeah, because we ended up walking down towards Wendy's, met Alan there,
Okay.
then went from there on over to my sister's.
Okay.
And we all started drinking there. I ended up giving my sister money to go buy alcohol, which it was me and her boyfriend that ended up going. I forgot my ID, so it was still right. Sherry's, I was like, yeah, I forgot my ID, so he's like, alright, I'll go in and get it. Just tell me what all you guys need. He bought 2 things of vodka and Smirnoffs for the girls.
Okay. And the whole pre-plan, that was Zach, Garth,
Yeah, it
you,
was all
Scotty, and Nicole, right? Okay. And initially you talked about shooting her, but you said your gun was in Tiffin and that wasn't going to happen.
yeah. Because my house in Tiffin was being watched,
Okay.
so I knew I couldn't get back there unless I sent somebody else over there
Okay.
to get the stuff.
So you guys specifically talked about a knife then?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you
We were
specifically?
talking about ways to get rid of the body
Okay.
and that. Our number one way of getting rid of the body was the wood chipper.
Alright.
Then taking her out to a hog farm.
Okay. Why the hog farm?
Because hogs eat anything.
Okay.
Really, they eat anything. You can throw them a bone and they'll eat it.
Okay. And the reason for the tracks was?
As soon as we went out there, we really didn't figure out where to take her, so we just said, screw it, go to the tracks.
And she was okay when she left to go to the walk or the
Yeah,
track. She was walking and
She was walking all the way there with us.
okay. She hadn't been stabbed or hurt at that point, other than it sounded like some beatings and stuff like that through the day that we talked about.
Yeah.
But, the one stab that we talked about earlier, but she hadn't been anything until you got to the tracks.
Once we hit the tracks, everything went down.
A couple questions. I know this might seem a little trivial to you, but it kind of makes sense, okay? You said that you were all at the house. This is after Mike and Shannon had gotten back from the hospital, right? And that Sherry was there, and Kevin was there.
Yeah, Kevin ended up leaving shortly after.
And you said, where did he go?
He went down the road towards Circle K to get food.
Did he drive? Did
He
he walk?
walked.
Okay, because he can't drive, right? Mike
Yeah.
always drives him?
Yeah, Mike always tried.
And what were Mike and Shannon doing? at that
Mike and
time?
Shannon was upstairs.
So Mike and Shannon, did they see you guys leave?
No.
Did Mike and Shannon know you guys were leaving?
Not that I know.
And when you got back, would Mike and Shannon have heard everybody talking about what happened?
More likely because once we got done talking with Sherry, Zach and them all went upstairs. Nicole went out, fell asleep. We sat there for about an hour until my sister came back over to pick me up.
What happened when Shannon was on the news the same day or the next day, giving all the details, and nobody had the details at that point. So that's what we're trying to figure out, how she knew, how she didn't know. I mean, because she specifically said her throat was cut. I think she exaggerated a little bit.
Yeah.
Was there some exaggerations going on as to what was done with the body?
Well, I didn't fully catch the news. All I keep catching is where they show Vera's family, then showing my picture.
Okay.
That's every time I turn on the news. That's all they keep showing now.
Okay. When Shannon, were you there when Shannon found out what was going on or what happened?
When they came back from the hospital, or
When you came back from Vera's,
or
do you know who told her what happened?
I don't know.
Okay.
because we all were down there talking with Sherry, then they went upstairs.
Because some of the rumors were her heart was cut out, fingers were cut off, and I don't know specifically what she said, but she was saying some things that didn't happen. So that's why I didn't know if somebody was exaggerating in the house or what happened as far as her.
And when you guys walked, you know what time you guys left the house? Or can you describe what it was like outside when you guys walked?
It was nighttime.
It was nighttime?
I would say roughly 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, somewhere around there.
When you guys went to the tracks with Vera? Okay. So it had been quite a while since Shannon had gotten home.
Yeah. We waited until, because Kevin's like, well, I'm gonna go get some stuff in the store so that way, because they needed milk and that, so he ended up walking down the street to get stuff. And as soon as he left, about 5 minutes passed, we went out, me, Zach, and Garth all went outside, looked down the street to see if we seen him, and didn't see him anywhere, so we came back in. Nicole's in the kitchen, rustling through the drawers, and we told Vera, come on. As soon as Nicole heard us tell her to come on, everybody ended up just coming on up.
Is your time frames like you told us before? Mike and Shannon got home, and you had said roughly 15, 20 minutes after they got home is when you left. Is that accurate?
No, we had to literally wait about an hour.
Okay.
Because Kevin was still there.
Okay. So then when you left with Vera, was the 15 to 20 minutes that you were gone, was that fairly accurate? Then you came back?
Yeah.
And then is it fairly accurate you were back for, you said 20 to 30
We were
before
there
you went to
for about
Destas?
We were there about 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay. And then went to Destas? Okay. Was anybody calling Desta to tell her you guys were coming over?
I called her and told her that I'm coming back over.
Okay.
So that way she knew that I was on my way.
Okay.
And
You know if Kevin or Sherry or anybody called her?
I don't know if they did or didn't.
Okay.
Because I called her and told her I was on my way back over. I ended up coming back over, started drinking with her. Then Zach's dad called Kevin saying he wanted the boys back home.
Okay.
So we took them all back home.
Okay. Did you guys all arrive at the same time like you
Yeah.
said? Or?
Speaking about Kevin again, when you guys came back and started talking about what had happened, had he heard what had happened
He was in the kitchen.
in the kitchen?
He was in the kitchen the whole time that we were talking with Sherry.
Okay.
We were whispering to her so that way Kevin didn't hear.
Did anybody threaten Kevin at any point that you know of?
Not that I know.
Anything else?
You know, burn another before you go back? Some advice I'd like to give you. Don't make life hell over there for them, because it will make life hell for you, okay? I don't know what happened. That's between you and them. But
I was pissed off. Woke up this morning.
oh, it happened this morning, did it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I misunderstood him. I thought last night you guys had a problem.
I locked dude in his cell. They gave me 3 days locked out.
Did you?
And I woke up pissed off because I looked, all I saw was my indictment underneath the door. I was like,
Yeah. I can tell you, I'm not a prosecutor, and that's something you're going to have to talk to your attorney about. There's the possibility those 2 kidnappings may merge as one, or they may drop one, and, you know, I'm not a prosecutor, I'm not a defense attorney, but I know that's happened in previous cases where you had 2 similar charges and then they'll drop one, or something along those lines. But that's something to talk to your attorney about.
because we're looking at, me and Newman was looking at it like, yeah, that carries from 5 to 10. That one carries 5 to 10. But we're looking at all the maxes and everything on all of them. 68 years. Then on top of whatever I get with the murder.
You know there are such things as consecutive and concurrent. I mean, do you know that?
They can run it all together.
Yeah, they can run them all together, or they can run them all back to back.
They'll run them all
I
wild.
mean, yeah, there's all
I
kinds of
see them
ways.
running them all wild.
Yeah. At this point, I don't know. That's like I told you when we left, whatever day that was. That you know there could be more charges added. Now, at this point, unless something else comes about, I don't. Yeah, I can't say that. I don't think there'll be any more charges, but I don't. Again, I'm not the prosecutor. But we got we're still interviewing, as you know, and things are still happening. So
I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with Nicole too.
yeah. But I can tell you, like you said, she's in custody, and that's her charge.
So I was trying to figure out if they got her over in Seneca County still or what.
Yeah. At this point, to be honest, I don't know where she's at. So.
They got her over in juvie over there, or if they got her in the county. 'Cause I was gonna write to her to see how she's doing.
Yeah, but at this point, I don't know. I can tell you, by the time this is over with, she's going to be in our county. There's also the possibility, if they try her as an adult, she'll be sitting in the same jail as you. So that's a possibility too. But at this point, it's too early to say what they're going to do. So, all right, we'll give you a minute to burn that, man.